Hello, everyone. It is the May Local Gov Drupal Accessibility Meetup.
Hooray.
Today, we're going to be focusing on publications and the award-winning trademark Publications Importer. So we've got Rue here who built that, funded by Southwark and most recently funded by West Lindsey. Um, did anybody else fund it, Rue?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Open to more funding, obviously. Um, I think there's been quite a lot of questions. There's also some recent developments funded by West Lindsey, which Rue's going to show off first. And then basically it's over to you. So it's whatever you want and need to find out that you're not sure about. Could be on the publications import itself. Obviously, that goes into publications. So, there may be questions around that as well, and anything else. Um, so, shall we just dive in? What do you reckon?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
What this is it's a Drupal module that lets you kind of upload a PDF and get a local Drupal publication. Um, so like it all starts from this screen here, which is the import screen. These are a few that I've updated earlier. Sorry, uploaded earlier, I should say. So they're like some PDF files and other files, which I'll get to in a minute, that West Lindsey and Southwark gave me as kind of part of their testing. Um, so like if I click into, actually I'll go for a slightly, oh no, let's just go for it. So, oh, sorry. So yeah, what I should say, these are all the previous ones. It shows when it was created. It also acts as a bit of a queue. So like, and when you create a new one, it ends up here with a status of pending, I think, and then goes to processing, and then this. Can you see my mouse cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that status there says it's completed. This is who uploaded it, and yeah, this is the result here. So there's no result until it's been processed in the background. Sorry, my dog's coming in. Wait. So if we click into it, I haven't changed this at all. All I've done is I've uploaded the PDF, and this is what we've got. Um, this is actually one of the changes I was going to talk about in a bit, but let's talk about it now. It's fine. So previously, you'd upload a PDF and you'd just get a publication. One of the things that Alistair from West Lindsey asked me to change was like to have the ability to add a cover page. So it's an option. I'll show you that in a bit. But in this example, it's create a cover page. It's linked up the resulting HTML publication, which is there. It's also linked up the PDF that got uploaded to create it, which is there. And it's used AI to create a summary of the entire document, which is this text here. So yeah, this is all just out of the box, uploaded a thing, received this. So then if I click into the actual publication itself, you can see it uses the title out of the file. But after that, it's like the entire content, like all the text from the PDF gets extracted, in this case, sent off to an AI. And the AI makes a whole load of decisions about like what ends up on which page and also what the title for that page should be. And it does that like for a couple of reasons. The decisions about what should go on which page, that's kind of important because like a PDF and an HTML publication, they're quite different media and they have different constraints. So like, the PDF, it's an A4 page, you can only get that much stuff on it. And if like your content overflows, the page and runs on to the next one, yeah, fine, you got to kind of live with that. But you don't want those page breaks to come across into the HTML version because like an HTML page can be as long as you want. So that's why we get the AI to make the decisions about what goes where. It doesn't change the text, it doesn't change the order, it just basically inserts the page breaks where it thinks it makes sense. And then it generates the title based on the content of the page it's decided upon. Because partly because PDFs don't have any concept of like a per page title, but also because like the content, is different to what was on the previous pages. So we get this, quick summary there. Driving impact, cultural strategy for West Lindsey. Oh, actually, I should show you the document it made this from. Oh, I didn't show my screen, did I? I just shared the.
Yeah, no, I can see your I can see your Finder.
Oh, you can. Cool.
Yeah.
That's all right. I thought I just shared my browser window. Brilliant. So this was cultural strategy. Right. Can you see that PDF?
Yes.
Right. So this is the file that I uploaded on the right, and so there's a content screen and a cultural strategy for West Lindsey, and that content is here. And then, so this is this the same content? Sense of growing momentum. Yeah, so you can see that's the last paragraph on that page. That paragraph is there, but it's taken a bit of the text beyond. Where is that? This document sets out the shared cultural strategy. Ah, right, yeah. So one of the things about PDFs, and this is one of the things where you do need to be a bit careful and like review what it's done, is that PDFs don't have any sense of like the flow of an HTML document, like HTML does. So this text can be in like the structure of the PDF in any order that, it wants to be. So sometimes you do get the text out of order. It's actually quite rare that it does that. This is the first one I've seen in a while where it's like got the paragraphs out of order, but you do need to be a bit careful about like just checking it's got that right. So yeah, all that content's there. It's just got it slightly out of order. Go on to the next one. Growing momentum. So growing momentum is like a summary that it's thought up. Where is that? Yeah, so that's that next page mostly. And our ambition is this bit over here. But you get the idea. It kind of reformats it and kind of gives you something that isn't intended to be something that you can put like directly in front of people, but something that should save you like a load of cut and paste and formatting and stuff like that, even if you do need to review it. So like Southwark, who initially sponsored like the stable version, which is out now, their goal was to save like 80% of the time that you'd spend building this manually. And I think it does that and more. That picture's missing, by the way, but it will bring in the pictures. This might just be because this is my dev version over here. It doesn't always do everything totally correctly. So in terms of how this works, if I go and go to configuration, importer. So there's some general settings here, which is mostly about like how it does the importing. It all happens in the background because it's quite intensive. It's kind of more work than you can realistically get in a single page submission. So it's got to do it in the background. But the pipelines. So the configuration of it is like one of these pipelines. And this lets, the site owner configure like the whole import process to work how they want. But it also means you can have different configurations that do different things. So another thing West Lindsey paid for recently was the ability to import from Word documents. So that's why we've got two here, one that imports from PDF and one that imports from Word. So if I go and edit one of these. You can have as many as you want there, by the way. And that was something that Southwark used quite extensively while they were testing it and like refining the prompts. Like everyone had their own pipeline, and as part of their testing, like each of them would go and configure the prompt how they wanted and do little experiments and like, see what gave better results. So yeah, your pipeline has a name. You can choose an extract plugin. So like I've written one that uses a PHP library called Smallow PDF Parser, which pulls content out of PDFs. I also wrote one called PHP Word, which uses a library called PHP Word that extracts content from Word documents. So that's what lets you upload a Word document and get stuff out of it. Once you've got the content extracted, it goes through a number of transforms. So you can choose which transforms you want it to do. So like there's line breaks, which is mostly intended for people who aren't using this without AI. So like the AI is totally optional. And certainly one of my goals when making this originally was to make it potentially usable by every single council who wants to use it. Because like not everyone wants to or can use AI. So you can use it without AI if you want. You just don't get, results that are as nice. So yeah, the images transform takes the images out of the PDF and then saves them as files, and like Drupal files, that is. There's this summary option, which is what generates that summary that was on the cover page that I showed you right at the start. And then these ones are like the main AI options, effectively. So like there's three different ones, and they all do very similar things. And like the reason there's three is like we started with this one, we started this one, the page by page method. And then during development, we discovered that the all-in-one method, as in collecting all the content together and then sending it to the AI all in one go and getting the AI to make decisions, actually worked better. And then this is the current best one. So what that does is it sends all the content to the AI in one go. And instead of getting the AI to return like pages, like chunks that are pages, it also sends the information about the paragraphs that are available in the site and gets it to return what it thinks should be represented by which paragraph. So that was another thing West Lindsey paid for, and I'll show you that in a second actually, because it does work really well. Each of these transforms, or some of these transforms, have a configuration option, which is here. So if I turn one on, it appears there, and you can configure it. I'll turn that off because we don't want to. Oh, Johnny, yeah, to answer your question there, by paragraph, I don't mean content type. Paragraphs are like what you can use to make up content in like a content type. So I'll show you in a second actually. I'll explain that one. So yeah, these are the configuration for each of the transform steps that have configuration, and this is basically what lets you change the prompt. And like for the AI one, you can also choose which model it talks to, but by default, it'll use the default one there. And the last step is saving it. So yeah, the structured paragraphs one goes with the structured paragraphs transform. But otherwise, there's the potential to extend this in the future and like export to like I don't know other LGD content types. So like you could export to a guide or a step by step or a subsite potentially. Technically, so that extract step, each of the transforms and the save step, they're all implemented as Drupal plugins. So like any developer, doesn't have to be me, can implement like custom plugins there to do what you want. So say you had your own like content type, which you haven't shared with the rest of the community, and you did want to import to it, you can make your own save plugin. And as long as you can tell it how to save the content onto your content type, it can do that. So just to go back.
Rue, just to check, you said that with the AI provider, you've got default. I didn't quite understand what you meant by if you leave it default, it will be the default. What do you
Oh,
mean?
right. So yeah, there's a whole load of models here.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave it on default, so the Drupal AI system has the whole concept of a default model. So if you go in the AI default settings here,
And just to check, is the publications importer reliant on the Drupal AI module?
yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Well, sort of. If
Okay.
you want to use the AI features, yes.
Yes.
You
Okay.
don't want to use the AI features, no.
Okay.
Um, or for example, WebCurl made a transform plugin that talks to Copilot that doesn't use Drupal AI at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it can use Drupal AI, it doesn't have to. But yeah, if you don't choose a model, it uses your default here.
So
which is,
these are your defaults, and that's what default means. Okay, so
yeah,
set.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
it's because like you might be using AI for other stuff in your site, and you might have set a default here, and it'll just use that. So just to show you the example of the AI making decisions about which paragraphs to use, let's go into the ones I prepared earlier. So if I go and edit this, so you can see we've got a text paragraph there. That's more text. This is numbered text. So it's got the number at the start. Numbered text, numbered text. That's text again. That's text. And this is a link paragraph. So at the end, we get that sort of nicely styled link instead of just a link in the text. And like, given like the default paragraphs that this installer Drupal has, you don't get anything like really radical, but it is genuinely using the configuration for what's in the site. So if in your publications install you've added a whole load of custom paragraphs, it will do its best to make use of them if you have them available. I did see another nice example. There was one where, see if I can find it. Which of these it was. Oh, it was another one of those. Hold on. Where's the delivery report? There was one where it had like a load of data about people, and it used a paragraph that had people. I can't remember what it's called. One of the default paragraphs is like, this is someone's contact information, and it decided it was going to use that. It's just got the nicer styling on it. But anyway, if I can remember where that was, I'll show you. So that is.
While you're just having a look, Rue, maybe I'll just bring Justine in on a question that Andy asked, which is more about PDFs than the importer. So Andy and Joan, feel free to jump in, Andy, but I know it's been answered in the chat, but for the video. So this is about the read order of the PDF. And so Andy was asking, is it only if the tab order has been incorrectly set in the PDF? And Justine, I think you've answered in the chat. Do you want to just explain? Because it's worth understanding the
Yes.
challenges of working with PDFs, I think, maybe not everyone knows.
Yeah, quite a lot of PDFs, especially this one that we can see on Rue's screen, will be made in something like InDesign. And that editor is quite visual. It'll have some basic templates in, but basically a graphic designer can drag and drop a text box and the content can flow between them all. They can also move that text box by 1 or 2 pixels. And the way that the PDF is generated, because it's a file that's made for printing. So that's talking about lasers, like putting 2 points together to put a dot on a page. You have to think of those old dot matrix printers, because it kind of works that way. The PDF is all of the information in the file is very coordinated. So it's all the coordinates for things. So it doesn't really matter if the tab order is right, because that's something that's then being put in afterwards for screen readers to use. So you can kind of override it, and it could be so that a keyboard works fine, but then the PDF still has a whole other overriding thing for it to print the words in the right order, which completely just the AI goes, oh, we'll just put all this text backwards or upside down or sideways because it's for print. Which makes it fun.
And is there's a silly question. PDF's been around a long time. They've always done this, and they're always likely to work in this way. There's a sort of limitation of the format.
Yeah, like that, the structure. I think Dave's just posted the link. It's a pretty old school kind of way of having it. Nothing's really changed for quite some time. When Adobe adopted PDFs and kind of everything got big. For the print world, I think that's kind of where it stopped.
So kind of Dave Williamson here. PDFs do have internal structures, but I forgot your name. As the person who was speaking just before me, the problem is the way that designers create them. For something like the document that's on screen now from West Lindsey, they will literally draw layout boxes for the text and the image, and because of that, the internal structure and the content flow will be frankly broken. So there is a case for kind of using Acrobat Pro to put that structure in to get the content tagged up before you convert it. So a lot of the effort in converting PDFs it comes down to the way they were originally created.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thanks, Dave.
I
Thank
mean,
you, Jesse. Drew.
part of one of the aims of this project is you shouldn't have to do that, ideally. So obviously, like, a PDF reader can correctly lay out this text. So it should be possible to get the order correct. It just isn't at the moment. That's one of the things where we could improve on it. So at the moment, like, my code is just calling the library that reads the PDF and saying, hey, give me the text for it. And clearly internally that isn't doing as good a job as it could as at putting the text in order. So yeah, that's something where we could improve on it and save people the time of having to rearrange the text in Acrobat or whatever, if that needs to happen.
So Maya's got a question before we go on. So he's asking if we can use a hybrid of both AI and non-AI. So some documents will be straightforward and won't require AI, and other documents would require AI to correct them.
I mean, you can if you want to. But like, if you've got the AI set up in your site, I would use it. Because like the results that you get without the AI are kind of a bit rubbish, and it does other things like, generating using titles and moving it between the pages and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, technically you can set up multiple pipelines, one with the AI and one without, but I honestly can't think of a good reason to use the non-AI one if you've got access to the AI one. And if you're concerned about the running costs, it is really cheap to run. Like, the larger documents were costing me like 16 pence in AWS credits to run each one.
And that's a large document, like the Constitution, that's hundreds of pages.
Yeah. So I'm just checking that I actually got through all of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I was going to show you the settings. So to import a new publication, you go up here. And if you remember before, I showed you the ability to create different pipelines. This is where you choose a different pipeline. So that's which configuration of you want to use. You put your file in there, and like each plugin can offer choices up to this form. So like the Save plugin, which can optionally create a cover page, gives you the choice here to say, don't add a cover page, do add a cover page, create a new one, or add a cover page and use one of these existing ones. So that's like a situation where, say, you've Alistair wanted it for like a series of documents that he was linking together with a single cover page. So you can just come along and go add it to this existing one when the next one in the series arrives. And then the last thing that West Lindsey paid for, which is new, is not there. It's in import pipelines. Because Alistair works across multiple councils and he's going to set this up in more than one website, there is the option to move to export the pipelines. So you go to export, and it just gives you the pipeline as JSON, so you can copy it, and then up here you can put that JSON in this box on a different site and it'll import it. So that's partly so you can move it between different sites if you have them, or like, say you wanted to share it with one of your colleagues from a different council, you can do it there. Just makes it nice and easy. So that was kind of all the new features that are coming up in version 2. Oh, there's input from Word as well, but I kind of mentioned that. Yeah, that's kind of available now as a dev release if you did want to try it out. But I'm, as soon as Alistair's got it installed and he's got it in production, yeah, we'll try and make a real release of it.
Okay.
Anyone got any questions?
Yeah, there's going to be loads of questions, I think. So just to check, this is coming in version 2. Version 2 is not quite released yet. Is that right?
There's a dev release of it. You can
There's
go
a dev release.
Yeah, you can go and try it out right now if you want to.
Okay.
Don't install it in your site. There's a real stable release if you do want to use it.
Yeah. Okay, great. So there's quite a lot going on in the chat. So it would help me if you do have a question that you want to ask Roo, just put your hand up using React, and then I can just come to you in turn. So there's something you've put in the chat we haven't already talked about. That would be helpful. I might come to Ben first because you've written quite a lot in there, and Johnny's got his hand up. Okay, great. So Ben, do you want to go first because you've done some testing and found some things?
Yeah, I put in the chat. So basically, I tested this at Newark and Sherwood about 5 weeks ago. I think it was on this release because it was on our dev site, so I'm pretty sure it's this release that I tested. And we had Claude AI. I don't know if that makes a difference, but yeah. So the things that I found, I'll just read out what I wrote. So basically, it removed bulleted lists and made them into comma-separated lists. I mean, not always, but sometimes. It didn't include any images or maps. It created, so a bit like UDemoed, it created new subheadings where it thought it would be useful to include a subheading. It didn't move any tables, it didn't move any diagrams. It rewrote some of the headings. So that one there that says Morton's history, it rewrote as history of Morton. And then finally it closed up paragraph breaks where it thought it was useful, and it inserted new paragraph breaks where it thought it was useful. The conclusion of all that was, I think, so Newark and Sherwood are, I think, debating the impact of using it, because ideally what we want, the purpose of what we wanted to do is convert a PDF into a replica of that PDF. And that PDF that I demoed for that example was about 80 pages long. So what we're going to try and work out is how long it then takes to go through it and correct all of the things that it didn't do. And to your point of whether it still is better to do it, I like kind of what you said Southwark did. Is it better to just do it and then fix what it didn't do as opposed to doing it from scratch? I imagine the answer is yes, it probably still is better to do that. But there was quite a lot of things it did that I wasn't expecting it to do, like rewrite headings and things like that. So I think I tested 3 PDFs. Obviously, the more straightforward the PDF, the better the result, because if it's just a text PDF, it's less likely to do things that are different to what you're trying to import. So yeah, it's just left the council a little bit unsure, because one of the things I did wonder, I don't know if anyone in Southwark is on this call, but I did ask Angie actually whether they put a caveat out on the PDFs they've used to say this is an AI generated version of a PDF, because without knowing it's an exact replica, I think Newark are slightly hesitant to put it out there as a version of a PDF because they won't match. So this is an AI generated version, but if you want the complete real version, it's here as a PDF. So it's just whether they want to talk about whether AI was used to produce this, or that is kind of being debated. So we are still debating what they're going to do with it.
Okay, can we take the second bit of what you said separately, because JVIC actually asked this question. I'll put a link into a reference paper. So Roo, in terms of like those specific things about removing bulleted lists, not including images, subheadings, I mean, yeah, what's your take? It might be, yeah, you've got some questions to diagnose it.
So bear in mind this, I mean, this is kind of, okay, I wouldn't take it as a finished product. If you're going to just install it and not put the effort into configuring it, you're not going to get the most out of it. So Southwark, they put a load of effort into configuring their prompts. And like we were working in parallel, I was building the code up, and they were like, running a PDF through it, tweaking the prompt, running a PDF through it again, and just getting it to the point where like, their content editors could, save the most time effectively. And like what you get out of the box is decent, but it has the potential to do a lot more than, it can. So if we go to configuration and import pipelines. Oh, I'm already there. So if I go and make this a bit bigger so you can see what's going on, you get a whole load of power by modifying this. And there are some instructions there to the AI, that are kind of taken from Southwark's work that they put into it, basically to tell it what to do and what not to do. And if you find the AI is either not doing something that you want it to do, instruct it in here and tell it, what you want. Or if it is doing something that you don't want it to do, again, you can tell it there. So like this whole thing is incredibly configurable, and I think if you're not configuring it and testing it and validating that it does what you want, you're missing out on a lot of its power.
I think it's quite interesting that Ben, you were using Claude and then Southwark using Bedrock. Different LLMs.
Bedrock isn't an LLM.
No, I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what they were using.
They were using Claude Sonnet.
Maybe different versions.
Yeah, it could be like differences between models. So yeah,
that's something worth looking into.
Yeah, depending on which model that you want to use, you might want to tweak the prompt as well.
Is this prompt, Roo, is this a sort of stripped down version of what Southwark ended up with, or is it where they got to as a sort of, this is a pretty good, this is a great starting point for the bulk of the things that we've tested. Do you see what I mean? So that, I guess
it's kind of exactly what they had at the point where they were happy for me to cease development on it. I don't know if they've changed it further since they put it in production, because it's their thing. But I mean, if you think of it like, like local gov Drupal itself, you don't just install local gov Drupal and use it. You put the effort into configuring it how you want it and styling it and stuff like that. And this project is kind of the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know how it was configured. I can certainly go back and mention this. It's a bit like a test and iterative learn process, right? Like you like that list I've got. Can we stop it doing this? Can we stop it doing that? Put the prompt in, retest it, and then see if it. Then I guess that's what you're saying Southwark did, right?
Yeah. Oh, and totally, you are the best person to be doing this on that team as well. So it was Justin, who was one of the content designers from Southwark, who put all the effort into building the prompt out.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, that makes sense. I will go back to them and tell them that. Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. And to your second point, I don't believe they put any warnings on it about, this content was generated with AI, because they're not going to put anything out there that hasn't been thoroughly reviewed and probably tweaked as well.
Okay.
But ultimately, there's going to be a person taking ownership of this content before it, gets published.
Right, got you.
So I've just shared this is a link that Javik shared, which is from a research briefing on AI labeling and the sort of, where that's at and whether you should be labeling to say this, this content was generated at least in part using AI, so having a sort of standard caveat. You're saying really it's not.
I mean, it shouldn't be, on the whole, it shouldn't be changing the content, really. It should just be reformatting it. You could argue it's generating the summary that was on the cover page, but it's not being created from scratch like you can do with an AI. Like you can ask an AI, write me something on this topic and it will do it. But in this case, you can see what's doing it here, actually. It's saying you get provided the full text of a document and give me a summary of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think their concern was because a lot of these PDFs, they were policy documents. Unless you cross-reference every single line in that 80-page PDF against the AI version, if it did something and that someone then raised a complaint because the policy said that I'm entitled to this, but your PDF version says I'm not entitled to it, this version says I am. So therefore, I've got evidence that you should give me that thing because your policy says that I'm entitled to it. So I think by having that AI caveat, by saying this is an AI generated version to make it more accessible, but actually this PDF is the definitive version. Maybe it gets around that thing of this isn't the definitive version, but this is trying to make it more accessible for you. Just because the resource to cross-check an 80-page PDF line by line is quite a big resource, but versus doing it from scratch, I guess you could say it's still less time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. It's a good point. I think it's something that's probably going to keep evolving as we start using these tools. We've got quite a lot more questions and people with hands up. So let's start with Johnny and then Kat and then Jonathan. So Johnny, what's your question?
On mute. There we go. Right. So just on that last point, if you're not putting the effort in to check that it's exactly the same content, then you're making it HTML, so you're making it accessible, but you're not giving an equal accessibility experience. So I would argue strongly that you do need to go through line by line. My question was, so I've got two questions really. So one is about, can we import from an HTML site? So if I wanted to move an iDocs send local offer to a nice LGD send local offer, is there a way of doing that nicely, including with directories? Would that be another pipeline that we would use somehow? And then my main question really is there an AI chatbot to be able to just interrogate the PDFs or the content from publications or even the whole site? Have we got that far yet? Those are my two questions.
So to answer your first question, you could feasibly create a extract plugin that fetches the content of a URL. And this is something that I might end up doing as part of this kind of larger project, which I've loaded up here.
Right.
So I have one potential client who is in local government but doesn't have an LGD site. So they want to be able to use this on their site. And as part of that, I'm going to refactor it so it doesn't depend on local gov Drupal anymore. But this also makes it into kind of a generic thing for importing content into a site.
Great.
So yeah, the idea is it'll end up as a solution that lets you kind of, as a content editor, just grab content and bring it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is on the cards.
Because the point of that is that you would have a page, but then that page would have all sorts of crud around it that you don't want it to import. So it would be quite a nice thing to be able to do, especially again with crappy layouts that you get.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the AI chat.
I didn't really understand that question. Can you ask it?
So one of the things I want to build is a site that will just upload loads and loads of send documents to special education with disabilities, send across lots of different councils, and then allow people to interrogate that, so that if they want to look at send strategies in the Northeast and get summaries of that or whatever. I don't really know what I'm talking about myself, do I? So I'll have to go and think about that a little bit more as to what I want to achieve.
If you're trying to build some kind of search across a large number of PDF documents, you could use this to get the content out of them and into content that's searchable.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit more than search, though. It would also be summarizing somehow, something. But okay, I'll go away and think about that. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Thanks, Johnny. Okay, Kat, hello.
Hi. Yeah, this has come at a really good time for us because we are embarking on a big documents project and really trying to convert a lot of documents into HTML. So I have started playing around with publications just manually without the importer. It's very basic right now, as in just text and headings. I haven't been testing with images. I feel like the importer would probably launch me into that and kind of show me what other content types are available to use in a publication. So that would be really helpful, probably to test it on dev if that's available to us. I feel like you've maybe already answered my questions when you were talking to Ben about how detailed the prompts actually can be. And can they be changed for different documents? Because there will be some documents that we're not allowed to change and it has to stay like for like, obviously. And then there will also be a lot of documents that should probably be rewritten in plain English because the content within documents I'm finding to be not actually written accessibly anyway. So can we update the prompts for individual documents, or is it kind of a one size fits all prompt for all documents? Would be my first question. And then
Let's take that first, Kat. That's a great question. Yeah, really.
No, it's not a one size fits all. So you have the ability to change this given the permissions on your website. But also you can have as many as you want. So you can just add a new one. And then from there, I can't spell, there we go. As long as you know how to configure it, you can let's go, and then from here, so you can change that to whatever you want it to do, and then save that. And then when you import, there you are.
okay,
You can choose it there.
brilliant. And those transform plugins, the checkboxes, are they when we install the importer module, are they just available like when you install it, those checkboxes?
Yes, there's a sub-module that does the AI stuff, which is how the AI stuff is optional, which you need to turn on as well, but that comes with it.
Okay, Brill. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Kat. Great question. So you get those two plugins out of the box.
I
Really.
just want to jump in really quick.
Yes.
Having like different pipelines like this is really good for making like an easy read version of the PDFs as well. That seems quite fun to be able to do that and maybe even generate little AI images, but we haven't quite got that yet.
Do that.
Nice. Thanks, Justine. Jonathan.
Thanks, Aaron. It might have been covered by the prompts already, but is there a way to specify the capitalization that comes in for the titles? Would that be something you put into the prompt or something that you can do somewhere else?
That is, I think that is specified in here, but if it's not, you absolutely can. That was one of Justin from Southwark's things. I could have sworn he added something about using sentence case for headings. Anyway, yeah, you can add it in there.
Okay, thanks.
If you want. But ultimately, if I mean, the other way to do it, if you can write code or you have access to a developer and you don't want to do it with the prompt, you can do it by with a transform plugin as well.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Sorry, how would you do that?
Right. So if you Like I said, you do need to write some code for this, but if we go to look up publications importer, src plugin. So these are the different plugin types: extract, save, and transform. If you go into transform, I'll pick on the line breaks one because it's pretty simple. So you just need to copy that bit of code, change the ID, change the name, and then the actual operation that you want it to do, put it in there. So this replaces that tab and new line character with a space and then trims it to take the white space off the start and end.
Great. Yep. That's enough.
All right, cool.
Thanks, Roo. Nice to see it under the hood as well.
Excellent.
Are there any other questions in the room? I've got some from people elsewhere. Does anybody want to jump in? And is there anything else in the chat? I think the chat's gone quiet since we've been talking.
Hi, Aaron. This is Ryan from Hammersmith and Fulham. I didn't have a question. Obviously, I've been looking at all of this stuff in the background with Southwark when they were developing it. Obviously, I think this is a really great tool and will be useful to everyone. I just wanted to remind Roo to show everyone the updates to publications as well with the menu stuff that we released the other day.
Cool, man.
Well done, Ryan. Thank you. There was a couple of questions on publications as well. So why don't we, Roo, do you want to show us the latest and greatest? And then
which do you want to show off, Ryan?
Do outdoor parks. So the outdoor events guide. Can you show it all on one page? Yeah. So for people that are using publications, obviously you know that the menu for it is down the left-hand side. The changes we released in the last couple of weeks was to make that menu, well, do two things. One, you can open and close it, or you can demonstrate. So, yep, when you open it, obviously, yeah, the page goes smaller, and when you close it, you get a bit more space. And obviously, yeah, you can see that the menu has the description text as well. And then as you can see that Roo is scrolling down the page as well, and that the menu is sticky. If the menu was ridiculously long as well, it would have its own scroll bar as well. So that menu will always be, yeah, on view for people. So yeah, we are looking to release this back so everyone else could take advantage of it. And obviously, yeah, this is a single page publication, but it does work on multi-page publications as well. And could you just show them the mobile version as well? So yeah, you can see, yeah, when you're on a mobile, it's sticky at the top. And if you just open it again, the reason why it's got all of that space is obviously, so there's enough space for the menu to drop in. And if you are using the on this page menu as well as the contents menu, so the actual publication-wide menu, it will show both of them. And if you click on any of those links, obviously those are jump links, it will take you to that section. So it will close the menu and take you to that section as well. Thank you. I can see Kat's got her hand up.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, so I've been testing with publications just manually importing the content into the publications module. Ours doesn't have the sticky navigation feature or like the on this page contents pulling from H2s. So I wondered if that is like an additional function that needs to be added to like it. Do we just have a standard publications module perhaps? And then also this update that you're showing with the being able to hide the left-hand navigation, would that be, yeah, this is what ours kind of looks like a bulleted list, but
I mean,
with
yeah, sorry. I mean, the on this page should be there because there is.
Yeah.
If you go into the template, so if you go into edit, it might
Well,
on the other one, yeah, the one you were just showing.
oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you just go into edit there. So if you go to the bottom, oh, where is it on?
Oh, the hiding. No, that was custom for you.
Okay.
Yeah, the main one doesn't have that yet.
So how did it get generated then out of the box? Because it's on this one. It's on your.
It is. It's placed there by default. So the ability to hide that block was something custom that we did for Hammersmith and Fulham.
Okay. So why would Cat not be seeing it then?
I don't know.
The block's probably not being placed.
Yes. So there is, if you go to structure, block layout, and where are we? Sidebar first. There's this block here called on this page from local gov publications.
Okay.
If you just check for that, and then yeah, that should be placed on the page somewhere. And if it is, it'll show the on this page links.
Okay, I'll have a look. Thank you. I might be in touch.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And then yeah, you can answer the second question about when the stickiness and the latest updates will be made available.
I don't know off the top of my head, but we yeah, we will contribute that back at some point. It'll just need a bit of work because obviously it's trickier to make it work for everyone than it is just to make it work for HNF.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rue. So on publications, Elaine at Greenwich had a question. She was wondering about how councils are managing publications within their overall site navigation. So how do you, and maybe we can use the HNF example here, Ryan. Maybe you can just explain what you're doing. So you've created a publication. Where does it live? How do you sort of deal with breadcrumbs? Was her sort of specific example.
I mean, so originally we started off by adding them to the section in which they belonged. So it just followed that natural user journey, but we've changed tact recently because we've been thinking a lot here about analytics as well and how we can put everything together using the URL structure. So what we've done with some of our more recent publications is to if you go to the gender pay gap one, so I can't remember the structure off the top of my head. I mean, you can see it right there. Actually, if you just go back to the search page, you can see it underneath. So we've done /publications, then our top level section, so the one you would see in menu, and then the name of the publication. And the intention of that is one day to maybe have like a publication directory. And at least, the URLs will already be set up for that for when we do /publications. And that's like the search page for the publications and stuff.
And if we go to the publication itself, what's happening with the breadcrumb?
It's just home at the moment. So that is that's the downside of it at the moment because we don't have that publications page, if you will.
So this is findable if Google AI search or using a site search.
Yeah,
that's how you'd expect people to find it.
Yeah, and obviously there's a link to it in the somewhere in the councillors and democracy section. I think we've got a whole section around transparency and pay gap as well.
Okay.
If you go to data and information, I think it's in there. And then transparency, it's so long. We need to look at this. But it will be in here somewhere. See too many clicks to get to it.
But essentially, it's a content type in Drupal, so you can decide how you want to deal with publications, and it might be that they're treated the same as a service page. You can put them on a service landing page, etc., or they might exist in their own section, etc. It's a sort of
I think obviously I think everyone has just dived in and started doing it. I think for the newer councils, it might be easier because you can include it as part of your site structure. I think there is a council that does kind of have this already, like a publications directory, and that's how they've started it. I can't remember who showed that before. I don't know if that was Warsaw or not. But yeah, obviously, yeah, those are the two main approaches I guess you can take with it.
Okay, cool. Steph, do you want to ask your question and then we'll wrap up?
Oh yeah, this is just something I've observed by doing publications and stuff. Like, a lot of the titles are rather like generic, just like introduction or whatever, because they're obviously PDFs are created in isolation from a website. So, I've often found that I have to change the headings to be a bit more unique and descriptive. So like in search results and stuff. So I don't know if anyone else has done the same.
So instead of saying introduction, you would say introduction to, maybe more specifically, outdoor events guide.
Yeah,
or...
something like that. Because I mean, suppose you could each of those chapters are individual pages in themselves that you can search for, unless you exclude them from the search and just make people go to the cover page. But just an observation.
I think some of my colleagues have discussed this. I don't think we've set on a solution just yet. I mean, within R1, it's a shame we can't log in to show it, but I mean, on most of our content types, I mean, we have added the option to exclude a page from search. So I think for some of our publications, it is just either the cover page or the main first page that can be searched. And then the rest of them are hidden. But yeah, we've not done it for all of them. But as I said, I mean, yeah, we've got that feature across a lot of our content types.